Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. So we're going to talk about what does narcissistic abuse do to us? How can we tell if we're suffering from narcissistic abuse? Sometimes we're sitting here trying to get a diagnosis for a person. Are they a narcissist? Sometimes if we can tell what we've undergone, it can kind of help us understand a little bit more. Also, don't be so concerned about the exact diagnosis because it could be something else, but it's affecting your life. And that's what's important to get the healing process going. So narcissistic abuse is one of the hardest things to overcome in life. We have that trauma bond, CPTSD, brain fog, instability in our relationships. So it can completely destroy us. It erodes our self-confidence over time. So even if we get away from this narcissistic abuse, there's still some long-lasting effects that we're going to have to go through, that we're going to try to overcome. And knowledge is extremely important. That's why it's healthy that you guys are searching for answers. Try to search for the right answers. We need to focus on how to heal, how to overcome our rumination, where we're constantly thinking about them, and take control of our lives back. So when we survive narcissistic abuse, we must engage actively in self-healing. And I have videos on that. Feel free to ask any questions. And we also have to acknowledge what we went through, things about us, things that we can change to become stronger, to realize how our self-esteem got shot down so much. So by looking at ourselves the way we've allowed ourselves to be changed, because it's really difficult in narcissistic relationships because it evolves over time. It can be sneaky, but we have to take our power back. We have to realize when we started walking on eggshells, we started minimizing or making excuses for the things that were done wrong against us. We need to arm ourselves with understanding, trying to protect our well-being, keeping our needs that are rightfully ours to keep for our safety, whether it's sexual activity that we don't want to do, or giving money that we don't feel we should be giving, or that we don't even have. So we have to dig deep within ourselves so we can get our sense of self back, to regain our freedom. And by doing that, it's going to help us go through the stages of grief quicker. And once you go through those stages, if you can break the cycle, because you can flip-flop between the different stages. And narcissists love to hoover, and they'll bring us back into their world, and that can be toxic. We're just re-entering something that's not going to change. Usually the cycle gets worse, the discards get closer together. And in today's society, especially America and several countries that are out there, it's on the increase with men, women. So many people are narcissistic. Narcissists are raising narcissists. Our up and coming future generations are just riddled with abuse that can lead to long-term problems. So since it's everywhere, you know, there's a lot of victims. And narcissistic abuse, what is that? That's the behaviors and the coping mechanism that narcissistic people will use within the relationships that they have. And they use it against their partners, and it just destroys their partner's self-esteem, their motivation, their reality, their perception, and it can dramatically affect the victim. So it can be whether it's emotional manipulation, threats, physical violence, disregard, emotional manipulation, verbal abuse. And the narcissist, they are unable to see how important people really are, who they are at their soul level. They're only concerned with themselves. So by breaking free from them, that's the first step that we need to go through in order to heal, to fully thrive again, to break free from the cycle, to get rid of our anger. Anger is one of the stages of grief. It's okay to be angry, but try not to go back into the denial stage. To realize that, yes, it's okay to be angry. We're going to get depressed. We're going to be able to heal, but it takes personal effort. So what are some of these telltale signs that we've been through actual abuse? Because it does cause a trauma bond. So some of us have walked on eggshells. Most of us have. If we've been through narcissistic abuse, we're trying so hard to get back to that love bombing stage, or just some comfort, some peace, some understanding. So if you're building a life, a future with a narcissist, it feels like the ground underneath is shifting. It's like the rug's being pulled out from under us. We never know when it's safe, when our narcissist is going to be happy or pleased with us. And narcissists thrive on that. They thrive on our emotional instability, because when we start becoming unstable, we're going to start to want to please them more. And it alters us. And this is the thing, it self-serves their purpose for a while, to where we're walking on eggshells, but they see it as a weakness. And once something's going to click, and they're going to feel our weakness. In the beginning, they felt our strength and they craved it because they didn't have it. So they latched onto us and they knocked us down, and they utilized it. They utilized us giving them everything. But then they're like, wait, that person's weak, or this is easy. Like, I can just snap my fingers and they'll do it. And sometimes it's just a joke to see how much we'll do to please them. It strokes their ego. And all the while, it's damaging us, because we just want to be loved. We thought we were loved. And now we're doing everything to where we should at least be appreciated, but we're being more and more taken advantage of. So they start using gaslighting. That's a word that's floating around the internet and around social circles. And it's a type of manipulation. And there are 4 primary techniques. They'll withhold, they'll counter, they'll block, and they'll trivialize and deny us. So that kind of goes together. So when we speak up about something that's bothering us, the narcissist will try to deny it. They'll minimize it. They can react in an angry way. They cause us, or the victim, to question, should I be feeling this? Am I wrong for feeling? We're never wrong for feeling what we feel. We're never wrong for feeling it. It's how we react to it. So sometimes we start to question our sanity. And that's why they talk about the crazy making. That's what the gaslighting is. Crazy making. And that's why a lot of times these narcissists are like, yeah, they were crazy. We weren't crazy when we met our narcissist. And are we crazy now? We're not crazy now. We're just going through a lot of brain fog, where we're trying to sort things out. And we're trying to sort things out utilizing the tools a narcissist gave us, which were lies. So we don't even know how to sort things out. And we have to let go of certain things. Because if I told you, go find my car for me, I have 2 cars, it's red and it's yellow. So you're trying to please me. You're out here searching and searching and searching based on the evidence, or the facts that I gave you, red or yellow. So you're searching, spending a lot of time, starting to get anxious. Like, I really want to get this to her. I don't want to let her down. She's, so it's a purple car. So you don't even know what you're looking for, and you'll never find it. You'll never find it, because the facts that we got were not real. So we're wasting our time trying to figure this out. We're looking for red and yellow. We might even add a couple colors, but the chances of us figuring out what color car, or what the truth is in our relationship, that was an analogy, to find out the truth, we're using lies to figure it out. And the narcissist won't give us the truth. So we have to let go of trying to figure it out. We can understand narcissism more so we can protect ourselves, so we can build our self-esteem, set our boundaries better. But searching for answers from false facts and somebody who won't give the answers to us when they have it, we have to let it go. We just have to accept that we have to let it go. There is no answer. Or we're never going to find it because the narcissist won't come up off it. And they're the ones who house the truth and they won't share it with us. So we start to lose trust. We feel unstable. We have to be really careful not to bring that into a new relationship. So it causes us to question reality, to question other people. And we've put aside our needs with our narcissist. Everything was about them. We forgot what our needs are. And we're going to start to feel unbalanced. So one of the trademark signs that we've suffered a narcissistic abusive relationship is that constant dismissal of our own needs, to where, you know, we might want to see a certain movie, or we might want to go to our parents' house this year, or we might want to do certain things. And even if we're like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, and they do that poor pity me thing, like, who's going to cook my dinner? And then we start feeling guilty. So we stay home. We're losing a lot of ourselves. And, you know, over time, you know, in the beginning, when we weren't secured into this relationship, we still hung out with our friends. We still made our choices. If we wanted to do something, we would do it. We might invite them along. If they came, they came. If they didn't, they didn't. But when you start to become in a relationship, it's nice to do things together. So we start doing things with them, trying to show them, you know, hey, I'll do things I'll go to a football game. That's fine. You like that kind of concert, but that's all right. I'll go with you. It'll be nice either way. And then we want something and they're not there for us. They don't have to all the time, but sometimes they future fake. So we're counting on things, our anticipations, we're excited about this, and then they shoot it down. And it's very frustrating. And we don't want to keep going through all this frustration. So we're like, okay, it's okay. You know, if you don't want to go, I just want to know. If not, I'll ask Lisa to go with me. And they keep putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. And it's sad. So, you know, if you've been in a narcissistic abusive relationship, is your circle of friends shrinking? Is the amount of time you spend with friends, family, cousins, your coworkers that you like to hang out, maybe get some coffee after work, is our world starting to shrink? Because the narcissist, whether it's us giving it up, like, I'm not going to go to the gym, they're pouting about dinner, or I have to make sure that laundry's done, otherwise they're going to be upset, that our narcissist starts to isolate us. And they do that to control us, to make sure we're always available. And, you know, there are things, you know, if we're uptight about getting their laundry done, and it's their laundry, they're adults, they can do it, you know, and that's just an example. And we start to take on where we're always feeling the blame. Like, should I have gone to work out? Like, and I'll, you know, we start blaming ourselves. And we do this to maintain the relationship, because our narcissist starts becoming empowered and shoots us down, that they make us believe that we're at fault. They'll put things onto us. They'll blame us. They'll blame shift onto us. They'll deny things. They make us feel crazy. Like, did I say it that way? Like, I didn't think I had a bad tone of voice. And we start to question things. And it starts causing us to feel an instability within ourselves, start to become insecure. They might cut us down on our looks or the way we do things. And once you hear things so many times, They have that proverb where it's your thoughts become your action. Your thoughts become your words become your actions become your destiny. So when we're hearing this, our brain starts playing that back. Like, yeah, you are chunky, or yeah, your hair looks ratty, or yeah, this or that, or maybe I'm not smart enough for this. And we start playing that. And then we might say, yeah, maybe I am incapable of getting into the college. So we start getting insecure and we're not going to apply, or we just feel like we're failures. And it changes us because it changes the way we think. They get into our heads. And these are some of the signs, our person. And that's why, like with the new supply, my second one just got married. And it's, to me, it's like it's the beginning of the end. Like, it's not going to work. It is not going to work. It seems like they're happy. They probably are right now. They probably are right now. There's probably issues, but with narcissistic abuse, it changes personalities. It changed us. Some of us wonder if we're the narcissist because it changed the way we react to things. It gave us triggers. And narcissistic abuse destroys the sense of self, also the personalities. And, we start to get agitated a little more, and we start to lash out a little bit, or we want to, sometimes ourselves, we want to isolate. We're not told to isolate. We start isolating because either we don't want to complain to our friends all the time, or they're sick of hearing us complain, or we just want to cry. And now we're not this fun, loving, outgoing person. We might feel shy or intimidated or lack of trust. So we're not doing things or being open to new relationships because of the lack of trust, the lack of confidence. Narcissists destroy our confidence. We walk on eggshells. And it's weird how they destroy us to build themselves up. But that, even if it's subtle, little things, it's sometimes seen, sometimes it's very apparent. Other times it's like millimeter by millimeter by millimeter. So does a new supply see? No, it's inching, millimeter at a time. But over time, there's going to be that distance, the devaluation. Even if it's minute, sometimes it jumps. That's why some of these relationships implode quickly. Other times they last quite a while. Just depends on how tricky the narcissist is, how the other person is, how the new supply handles it. But over time, it might readjust, but that narcissist has to be on top, because they see that love bombing stage. They saw our strength and they wanted it. And they gained it because we were mirroring each other. But then it's like the ruler that took over the kingdom. They didn't care who their partner was. They wanted to do it themselves. So complex post-traumatic stress disorder, we go through that. And it can leave us feeling exhausted, feeling lost. A lot of us feel lost. I mean, I walk for years. Like, sometimes if we don't take hold of it, it could take years. I've wasted so much of my time walking around my kitchen doing nothing. I just stand there, cry, walk back and forth, take a sip of coffee, walk upstairs. Why am I up here? Go back downstairs. I don't sit in my living room. I don't watch TV. A lot of pacing, and we're wasting our lives. So some of it we have to go through. Some of it, is important for us to take charge of it. So we can be developing insecure attachments because of how destabilizing the narcissist made us feel. It changes the way we connect and attach to other people. And it's going to happen with the new supply. It just is. And that's when we learn that Insecure attachment is when we feel it's not safe to love someone. It's not safe to open up to them. So we either avoid the attachment, we might feel anxious about it, or a combination of the two. And, there we go again. We're going to destroy relationships too, because it's self-fulfilling prophecy in a sense. So we have to believe that we're worth it. We have to believe it, and we have to prove it to ourselves, because whatever we believe is what the world is going to see. And by building ourselves up and truly believing it, and it takes time because we've been knocked down so much, that we have to believe in ourselves. And when we do that, truly believe in it, other people are going to see it. And if they try to knock it down and we have the boundaries that we need, they're going to be like, oh, they might not want us because we set boundaries, but they'll see that we're a quality person. And when you mirror somebody, that's when you're happy. So it's a reflection on them if they don't like our boundaries. So when you pair up with somebody who's meant to be with you, it'll match. I promise you. And I'm single. I'm not in that situation, but I'd rather not settle. So it's okay to stay single. That's better than being in a toxic relationship. And sometimes we're like, but like I've gone through this where it's like, are you kidding me? Like my life probably would be better with them. They could help pay half the bills, to be somebody to at least snuggle with, somebody to go places with, or if my car needs a jump for the battery, I got somebody there. We felt so lost. We have to remember how lost we were, how unacknowledged we were, how we were walking on eggshells. And I had a friend where she came over and he was at work and he's about ready to this is my first one, narcissist. And he's about to come home from work and I start cleaning and the house was clean, but just double checking that, my purse is to wherever it was supposed to be and that the laundry basket everything was folded, put away, that nothing was out of sight. If I had like a dish rag, that I put that away, that nothing was out of sorts. And she's like, relax. She's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, he's about to come home. And she's like, you need to relax a little bit. And she could see a change in me, like, oh, he's coming home. I got to make sure, because we were just chilling and I don't know, maybe had some coffee or whatever, Diet Pepsi, whatever. But I wanted to make sure that was all cleaned up. The house was clean. And she was like, she's in a healthy relationship. And she's like, what's going on? Like, whoa, people saw me after the breakup and the comments. It's interesting on how good I looked. And I'm still the same. You guys can look through all my videos. I look the same. But it was something about just like that pregnancy glow. Like when you heal from narcissistic abuse or start to break free, it's almost like an inner glow. I wasn't pregnant. It was that inner glow of I'm me again. I'm me again. So with our narcissists, there's a certain amount of superficiality that we have to go through when we're trying to deal with the narcissist. They don't get deep with us. And we have to be careful, because when we're starting to deal with our narcissist, we're starting to back away from being deep. Because if we get deep, the narcissist hates it, and we pick up on that. So we feel we can't be honest. We can't be open about how we're feeling. So with the narcissist, we have to smile, even when we're upset, when they say certain things that aren't true. Do we go along with it? So it changes who we are. And it just becomes something normal in a sense, to where this is what's going to happen. So we start bringing this into our lives. We fake emotions. If there's, oh, the old bag and chain, and you're like, that really hurts my feelings, whether it does or doesn't. Let's say it does. And we're just like, oh, yeah, he always calls me that. but it hurts us, whatever the words might be. Oh yeah, yeah, my bitch, yeah, she's coming to the movies with us. And you know, if it hurts you, it hurts you. And it's okay to hurt over things. And we start to like, yeah, he just always calls me that. Can't wait to see the movie. And you're like, I wish he'd stop calling me that. So we start change, and this is so true for me. Like I'm back in the public schools, but I was teaching online and I dealt with Chinese kids, teaching them English as a second language. And sometimes I just did phonics. I just did vowel sounds. Sometimes it was a little bit more elaborate, but I'm dealing with kids that don't even speak English. And I'm not really talking to people. I self-isolated because I was so sad. And I was just trying to survive where I wasn't crying all the time. So when I started breaking free, it's hard to communicate with people again because our narcissist crippled our communication skills and we struggled to communicate effectively. I kind of a people watcher because I was basically so alone. Two narcissistic relationships, basically 30 years of time where I wasn't experiencing life. I had these narcissists, but I wasn't experiencing life or friendships. I got along with people. So if we did something or the neighbor said hi to me, like I could talk to people, or I met somebody at the store. And then I noticed too, there are times when you go to the gas station, you just start talking. You just start talking like, did I just have to share like my whole life? And do they really care that whatever happened? That's when you start breaking free. You're going to feel like, yes, I need to talk again. And it's good practice. It's good practice. So never feel like there's something wrong with you when you start doing that. So how do we rebuild ourselves? You know, learn as much as you can because it does take time. And knowing our worth is one of the most important things. Utilize your boundaries, keep them strong, and celebrate them. Spend as much time, you know, understanding what's important to you, you know, whatever it is. Forget what society says you should do. You know, if something is a no-go with you, keep it a no-go. If you don't want to date a drug addict, don't do it. If you don't want to date between of religions, that's up to you. If that's a deal breaker, don't do it. You know, if society says, you know, you should, but that's not what you feel, I don't think there's anything wrong with matching. You might need that religious connection with your partner. Some of you don't, but it's just an example. Whatever you are comfortable with. And if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. So believe in yourself, you know, utilize your support networks and just fall in love with yourself again. Think of all the great things. Look at your strengths and build upon them. And eventually it's going to rebuild you. So allow yourself some time to reflect on yourself. What is it that you need? You know, our feelings tell us a lot about what we're missing. When we're lonely, we need to reconnect with people who matter to us. And when we're sad, it tells us what's important. So if we're sad over a divorce or a breakup, we realize that a relationship is what's important to us. But we don't want to go back to something toxic. Realize that we did love our person, but were we loved? You know, are we going to sacrifice our life for somebody who doesn't love us, to where our needs don't matter or our feelings? You know, because there are differences between wants and needs. You know, I'm 6'1". I want a tall guy. Do I need that? No, I need a loving husband. So we have to realize what our wants are versus our needs. And you're worth it. You're worth it. So please comment below on some of your thoughts, some of the things that are great about you. Take every day and think about 3 things that are amazing to you, or create a challenge for yourself. Try something new or reconnect with a friend or make new friends. And I'll see you in the next video. It takes time, but once you get there, it's amazing. It is.